Afternoon everybody, and welcome to, well, some trotty warthogs that are running away from us on a sunny afternoon. They are busy leaving this area, and the reason why is probably because I look like an absolute fool right now. My name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got VM the Wildebeest, and you might be wondering what is going on. Well, I'll get into that in a little bit, but before all of that, remember that we are coming to you live from South Africa, and that means that it's interactive, so you can get hold of us on Twitter, #SafariLive, or the YouTube chat. Now, I'm battling to see out of these, and the reason why I'm dressed in these ridiculous things from head to toe is because it's all very, very exciting. The Safari Live team is going to, Wild Earth actually, who has put together Safari Live, is now going to be doing Dive Live. And today, after Safari Live finishes this evening, we will be going straight on a live dive. So we want all of you to join us, and hopefully you'll just head on to the Facebook page, Dive Live Facebook page, and join us for that, as well as to join the Kickstarter campaign and kind of be on the adventure from the very beginning as we uncover the underwater world together. So, we're going to try and do a drive like this. It's going to be pretty funny to see how it goes. Of course, I can't see anything, so every now and then I have to just kind of pull them forward, and then they demist a little bit, and then I can put them back on. There we go, that's better. And off we go again. So it's going to be an interesting afternoon, and I'm pretty certain we're going to get some funny looks from those that come across us, because we've endeavored to try and keep these on for as long as the drive goes. Now, Carla, thank you very much. I appreciate the fact that you say I've got nice goggles on today. They are very nice, except that they're a little on the warm side and that they mist up a little bit. So I'll have to get a situation where I get some little wipers that will help me stop that, because underwater it's much easier to stop misting, as you don't have to kind of breathe through them, although you can't really breathe through your nose at this point, so I do apologize if I'm taking deep breaths from time to time. Anyway, it's an interesting experience being above water in these guys. It's pretty kind of different, and hopefully it'll be an interesting afternoon. Of course, my armbands don't fit on my arms, so they're going to be wristbands this afternoon as well. Now, I'm not the only clown out here that's dressed in my diving equipment. There is also another clown in the form of Taylor McCurdy, and she wants to say good afternoon.
Sorry, I've just got to get to shore. I'll be with you in a minute. Almost there. Right. Hello everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to the Sunset Safari. As you all know, my name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me is Batman, aka Butternut Craig. We'll bring back that old nickname. Those of you that have never joined us on one of these live safaris, I promise you we don't always wear our scuba gear, but I thought we would test the waters at, Treehouse Dam and see what we can see. But unlike the chaps, I unfortunately cannot wear my goggles because they're for children and they do not fit my face, because I have an adult size face. So we'll see how it goes. It should be quite interesting. But remember, you can interact with us. You can ask us all sorts of wonderful questions. #SafariLive on Twitter. Also chat to us via the YouTube chat. And then please join us later as we, start our adventure underwater with Dive Live. Oh. Now, thanks, Laura, for having the first comment. Well, for me, in fact. Basically, you said I have a snorkel. I do, and I can talk with it. Look, I can swim. Okay, this is multitasking. I'm ready, Carrie. Right. Left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm. Can you hear what I'm saying, Nikki? Or is it too difficult to try and understand you in a dance like this? That's it. As you all know, you've met Tristan. Can't talk like that. The main clown, you've met me, the second clown. And now we're going to send you to Zebrawood, who has still got to become a clown.
Good afternoon and a very warm welcome to you all from this side of Djuma and the Sabi Sands, which is more like a beach. We have got a crowned lapwing, and my name is Scuba Steve, and we are out on safari this afternoon and having an absolute whale of a time. I'm sure everyone has informed you of the options and opportunities that are happening this afternoon to join us on a live dive in the Caymans with Graham Wallington himself. So we are getting prepared, and don't forget that Mr. Fergus is on camera with me, and he is playing beach volleyball, and we are having a great time this afternoon. Please feel free to send through your questions to #SafariLive, and if you think this is ridiculous, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. We are out on a mission this afternoon, And I think I'm having some technical issues with my goggles as well. Please send through your questions. I'm going to be doing some trees this afternoon. I know there's some interest on the Twitterverse there of people interested in leaf anatomy and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to focus on that. Once we get out of the heat of the day, I think we might go for a swim. Let's go, Ferg. Have we lost the ball? Oh, Fergus, we've lost the ball. Excuse me. Just like the beach. Anybody? So it's all fun and games at Safari Live this afternoon. Please join us. Let us know what you'd like to see. And hopefully we can accommodate. Let's carry on. We're just floundering around in the west. And the temperature is relatively warm. 31 degrees Celsius, I think about 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And these goggles do make for difficult birding, but I'm going to attempt my best birding this afternoon if I don't cloud up too much in the process. They definitely don't build these in with any solar protectors, I can tell you. We have a lot of fun in this team. We play lots of sports together, and we do lots of silly things, and I'm sure most of you out there can appreciate it. So let's go over to Tristan and see if he's managed to sort out his technical issues with his goggles.
Indeed I have. I've got clear vision now and I'm all good. You might also notice that I've got a ball with me too, so this is going to be the way that I'm going to attract the spotted cats today. We've got little fishies on our bowl, and we all know that cats like little fishes in a bowl, and so this is how we're going to attract them, and we're going to keep them with us all over. So this is going to go right next to me and stay right there. The other advantage of these goggles as we go along is that you can't smell anything. So I was thinking, well, this would have been very nice a few days ago when the elephant was really at its peak in terms of smell. It would have been really quite positive, except that if the smell did get in, it would linger, wouldn't it? It would be quite disgusting. But anyway, now I'm going to try and see if we can complete a drive like this. It's going to be a bit ridiculous because one is my head is being cooked by this cap. This swimming cap here is black in coloration and it's tight, and it's really kind of feels as though I'm being squeezed from the top as well as being heated. And actually, you're right, Nikki, we need to get through this because this is quite entertaining, actually. Now, I'm wearing these little armbands, which I don't even know, or floaties, or whatever you want to call them. And these are obviously designed to go on the arms, the upper arm. And in fact, Louise shouted at me because on the install manual, now not instructions, please note that these came with an installation manual, which I thought was quite entertaining, that you should not wear them anywhere on your lower arms. In fact, I think it even says it there, yes. To be worn on upper arm only. The problem is that I cannot get them onto my upper arms. They just don't go that far. The other problem that we have with these particularly is this over here, this little figure. Now, 18 to 30 kilograms, unfortunately, is probably not right at all. I think I'm well over that, and even two of them together would not hold me at my weight. The other problem is that it says 3 to 6 years. Nikki, don't worry, that's not a problem. We're just acting our age this afternoon, and we are around that age anyway, so it's all good. It'll be fine, don't worry. So, this is a bit ridiculous, but it is what it is, and hopefully you're all going to have a laugh with us as we try and go through. I just want to see the first set of guests that see us as we're driving along, because their faces are going to be very, very interesting. I'm pretty sure they're not going to know what to do with us, or what to make of these hooligans driving around the Sabi Sands in a whole bunch of swimming gear, because we can't actually call this diving gear, because having these kind of floaties on the wrist are no good for diving. You don't really want them because you want to get down, not be buoyant. So Sam, I love your enthusiasm and I love your kind of joining in the fun. So Sam apparently is sitting at home, has sent a screenshot through to Final Control and is sitting at home in her fins, joining in the fun. So maybe that's what we should do for the afternoon. Let's see all of you in your best swimming gear, your best diving gear, whatever you want to put on to get into the spirit of Dive Live this afternoon. So maybe we can see who sends them through, and then we'll try and kind of judge from there. FC will have to tell us who the winner is of the best Dive Live outfit for the afternoon. What do you think, Nikki? I think that's a fine idea. So Sam, I love the idea, and I love that you're in your fins. Also, Sam, maybe you should try and see if you can send a video of you walking around in your fins, because I've tried with fins and it's not easy to walk. We were thinking about actually wearing fins to drive, but then that was going to lead to a major accident, and so we thought we'd leave those alone. The other nice thing about these, now that I feel a fly on my ear, is that you don't get flies on your eyes, which is very, very cool. Anyway, let's send you across to Taylor, see if she's got to Treehouse Dam, and find out if she's submerged yet and has had a look underwater.
Just too shallow, Tristan, too shallow. So no swimming in Treehouse Dam, I'm afraid. And well, there was only some blacksmith lapwings, which we've seen about 3,000 times this morning, in fact. So yeah, we've decided to give it a skip. Something that we have added, of course, to our outfit is sunscreen, because it's very important. You can get horribly sunburnt when you are down at the beach, or even just at the swimming pool. So remember to put it on. It's very important. I, however, didn't have the white one. I have my one from the dermatologist, which I've now lathered on excessively. Okay. Well, we may have to make a detour. I forgot where we were going, Craig. I think I wanted to go to the elephant carcass, and then I've gone the wrong way completely. So that's what we will do. We'll go there, maybe we'll go there in a little bit. So I don't quite know what we're looking for just yet this afternoon. I think we're going to let the animals do that for us. And we'll try pick up on some tracks of some elephants, or we'll just also look for elephants. And hopefully we will get some, because I did have, an entire herd this morning. They all crossed out. They went north, which was a pity. We must have just missed them. So maybe we'll go back up towards Buffelshoek Dam at some point too, and see if those elephants do in fact come back down. For now, we can do some birding. I don't think I'm going to be looking for too many cats. I mean, Steve's covering the western and the northern corner, and then I shall cover the southern and the eastern corner of Djuma, and hope to maybe find some animals. Ooh. Now, I've seen waterbuck swimming. What else have I seen swimming? I think I've only actually ever seen waterbuck swimming. I've seen Thompson's gazelle and the Mara swimming. I've seen those two. So Seanak, I don't know if antelope are very good swimmers. Waterbuck, however, they can. They do it a lot in Botswana when they have to cross channels and things like that. They have to swim. And waterbuck are incredible, will probably be the best swimmers, or any antelope that secretes from a sebaceous gland, from an oil-secreting gland. And something is now tickling my face, and I don't know what it's my hair. My hair got stuck on the sunscreen and it was tickling me. So they're pretty good swimmers, pretty strong swimmers. I'm sure if an impala needed to swim, it would. However, I've never seen one leap into the water. But if a group of wild dogs is chasing after it, and the only thing it is able to do is cross a river, probably going to do something like that. Otherwise, you don't see too many of them swimming, unless they really, really have to. What else is good swimmers? Terrapins are great. That African darter we saw this morning, that's spectacular. Maybe Tristan will have it swimming around. That could be quite funny. Anybody that got a screenshot from this morning's safari of that African darter, maybe you can Photoshop some goggles and things onto it. Is that even... No, that's a road to the quarry. We don't want to go in there. Not today. Wouldn't that be fabulous, unique, if we could see the crocodiles and hippos from below? I think even if we were to stick a camera in the water, and the water's quite murky, I don't know how much we'd really be able to see. And unfortunately, we better slow down here for this one. Big marula tree overhanging on the road. Oh, water's just fallen down my shirt. Sorry. An ant. Okay, well, while I try and take the ants that have somehow fallen from the tree into my shirt, I'm going to send you to Steve in the meantime.
sounds like there's a whole lot of clown fishing around going on this afternoon, and I could not bear to wear these any longer. I think I was getting a burnt face from the reflection. So I'm going to find a little shady spot just up ahead and then stop and do a few little discussions on leaves. For all of those of you interested in trees out there, lend me your ears. We will have a little discussion, and just to make it all a little bit more understandable when it comes to interpreting and translating a lot of these things. Now, what are we looking for? Those of you who were with us last night remember the discussion about the simple leaves, and I will just go through it very quickly again, just for this one. We can have a look over here. Again, simple leaf has got a petiole, and if you look deep inside there, is got the bud of the grow point. So these two would be called, you'd call that an opposite arrangement, because the leaves are completely opposite. So that's very easy to remember. And if you rip off this leaf, and I'll show you from the side, can you see how undulating it is on the side? Very good characteristic. Very tough, very hard. The top is pretty much the same color as the bottom, so there's no real change in that. And very, very undulating. So this is in fact the magic worry, and if you were trying to identify it, that would be one of the characteristic features of the magic worry. And then something also to remember is if you go and you take a leaf and you want to eat it, remember, this one is very, very bitter. Okay, so magic worry, simple leaf. And now another simple leaf, which is quite easy to remember. This is one that we have discussed in the past. This is one that I like to eat, Fergie, down on the dash, yeah. And what's characteristic about these leaves is that there are three sort of primary veins from the base. They're very, very shiny, and once again, clearly a simple leaf. Sorry about my hand. Clearly a simple leaf with that little growth point just there by the thorn. Can you see that growth point there? And then obviously we've got the very sharp thorn on one side, and if I turn it, or I lift it up there, you can get the hooked thorn underneath. So for those of you who don't know this one, this is a very easy tree to understand. This is called a buffalo thorn, and the leaf is simple and also, oopsie, very, very tasty. Okay, so very easy to remember. Now I grabbed another tree, and this is a reason why it's good to do trees on the day when you get them, because what happens, it starts to lose color. And this is from last night. I was going to do this with you last night, but the color has started to get lost on this, and so has it's getting quite crackly. And one of the characteristic features of leaves often is if you rip off a leaf, you want to sometimes look at the base, but that's impossible to do even an hour after harvesting the tree. So it's something you should always do when you grab a tree, is have a look on the leaf and record, was there a milky latex? Was it a clear latex? Things like that are important to remember. But now, once again, I have got a simple leaf. Have a look. It's simple, but it's got a very strange arrangement. Very, very strange arrangement. And you can actually see, if I show you at the end here, they all kind of cluster around the top. They occur in kind of a whirl or a cluster, not really in any form of arrangement. And it's quite easy to remember if we'd looked at this yesterday, because it's got a very silver color to it. And if you asked me to eat this, it would come back in my mouth. It is extremely, extremely bitter. So this is the silver cluster leaf, and a nice smooth edge to the side of the leaf, but quite long. Almost lanceolate, so to speak. Siddharth, bitter leaves are definitely avoided by animals, by browsing animals. The bitterness is tannin, and the tannin is not digested. It binds to protein, and the animals will avoid eating that. So you'll often find these trees are left almost entirely alone, apart from maybe the pods. Okay, so I think we've given you quite a nice rundown on simple. So Siddharth, grazing versus browsing. Grazing is the eating of grass, and browsing is the eating of leaves. If you eat both, then you are a mixed feeder. I hope that answers your question.
Eating seaweed.
And seaweed would be filter feeding, probably. I don't know, Ferg. I don't know. Okay, so
To that, what's that?
Oh, excuse me. I'm browsing and I nearly choked. Okay, so I think that's it for now for simple leaves. Our next segment we'll stop and we'll do a little segment on compound leaves. I hope that is exciting for you, as exciting as it is for me. And let's go back over to the biggest clown on the team, Tristan Dix.
Well, Steve, I don't know if I can be called the biggest clown, because you are dressed in pretty much the same thing I am at the moment, and are also kind of fooling around with me, so I suppose we're all three of us are equally clowns together. But it should be pretty interesting, Steve, going through all the types of leaves and plants, and it's always good to touch on those kind of things, because ultimately without that, none of the animals that we actually get to see would really be able to live here, because that forms the base for all of our prey animals. Oh, do you see that? Look at the little button quail chicks. They're tiny, tiny, tiny little chicks. I wonder if they'll come out again. Now, they were small button quail chicks that went running in there. They were absolutely minute. They were tiny. Now, I'll try... Oof, in this grass, I don't think we're going to get a view. Do you wonder if she'll come out again with the little one? Well, actually, it's the male that looks after them. So button quails are a little different to other birds. It's the male that looks after the chicks, and the female will mate with multiple males, rather than the male mating with multiple females. But they were right here. Let's see if we can see some movement underneath this wooden branch. The problem is, once they get into the thickets, it becomes impossible to see them. I don't see any sign of them, and they're so small they won't even disturb the grass itself. But tiny little chicks that were there. They're so small. They're about this big when they are tiny, so you can imagine how little they are when they run. They've got these tiny little thin legs, and unfortunately a lot of them get eaten because of their size. But it's pretty cool to have seen. I haven't seen little button quail chicks in ages, so that was cool. It's a pity we couldn't get them onto camera for longer. It's normally the case with them, is as you kind of come past, they go scurrying out into the road and then back into the grass as quick as possible, because they know the grass is the perfect place for them to hide. So I suppose it's a good strategy, otherwise they would get eaten if they just stayed out on the road itself. Trish, you thinking that, well, you're asking, what do you think the animals think about our delightful outfits? Well, so far things have not gone well. The impressions have not been good. I feel like fish would react better. We'll have to test it at Chitwa Dam and see how the hippos and crocs react. But so far I've had warthogs run away from me, button quails run away from me, impala run away from me, and a nyala walk away as well. So it's not really going very well. I think the leopards would be quite intrigued, but I really want to find some elephants, because I think elephants might be completely kind of thrown out by the fact that I've got bright orange armbands. So I don't know, maybe they will be the ones that will check. Hippos might admire my mask and have a little look. What do the guinea fowl think? You see, they're running away too. This is not working from me. They really are running away, look. And although they've stopped now, maybe they want to just have a better look. Maybe they are a little jealous because finally somebody else has got a bit of colour on their face, and it's not just them with the bright blue colourful face. We've got now bright orange, or red should I say. Djuma, as far as I know of the guides, it's just myself that is dive certified. The rest I don't think are. I'm not sure about Brent, but I know James isn't, and I don't think Scotty is either. Nikki, is Scotty certified? I don't think so, but so I think it's just me at the moment that is certified. So I haven't dived in a while though, to be honest. It's been a long time since I've dived. Unfortunately, not many diving spots in the middle of Africa's savannas and wilderness areas, but it is an amazing thing to do. It is the most epic kind of experience to be underwater, and it's just that space that you have around you. I know some people feel claustrophobic underwater, but I think it's just the most insane thing. And the colors and the amount of movement and kind of things that we just don't understand is incredible. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to the fact that we're going to be going under the oceans. I think it's going to be just the most crazy kind of years, should we say, more than a few years. It's just going to be epic to watch the kind of stuff that unfolds under the water, because I think as humans we don't really understand much of what goes on under there, so it's going to be epic to see from a day-to-day basis. Anyway, we'll keep going. We're going to go try and find some animals that think that my costume is nice and don't run away from me. And while we do that, let's send you back across to Steve and see if he's having the same problems with his animals.
We are not having the same problems, but we did have a beautiful vulture in picture that was circling up in the kettle of vultures in the sky, and it was a white-headed vulture, one I have not seen in some time, but he has now moved off in a distance that we cannot see. So unfortunately we can't show you that one because it's moved off quite a distance. You still see it. Is that him far over there, Ferg? Let's have a look, folks. If you just give us some patience, he's quite far off there. He's gone in search of the next thermal. There he goes. Let's see if we can get him. Have a look at the very characteristic white belly. There we go. He's far bigger than the other vultures we find around here, the more common vultures, the white back and the hooded. He's got a really big, funny face with almost like a leopard face vulture, but a bit smaller. Very, very sharp beak. And that very characteristic white V underneath with a white belly. Let's see if we can get underneath. They spread their wings like that to maximize the thermals that are rising them up into the sky. And with their secondaries there, you can see the little fingers on the end that just bleed the air that's rising up. This is one of the ones with the red head. Not the leopard-faced, a little bit smaller than the leopard-face, but they do look very similar. That white belly is what gives them away in flight. So I believe you saw one of these at the Elephant Carcass. It's fantastic. I heard Brent last night say there's only 16 recorded breeding pairs in the whole of the Greater Kruger National Park, which is a very small number. Very small number. You can see how he's tucked his wings. He's moving quite quickly to the next thermal, which is rising above off the ground there. And as he finds that, he goes back into a vortex with other vultures that we can see in picture. Well, I can see outside of picture, but we don't want to take our eyes off him just yet. Maybe we get a better view. You see how he bleeds the air off with his little fingers there, so that the thermals rising him up don't cause any turbulence. There's no seatbelt signs when you're flying up with a vulture. Ferg, you're doing a marvelous job, sir. You can actually see the head. They've got quite a rough beak or broad beak. Look at that. Look at those broad fingers. Fantastic. Now his belly's not looking as white as it did previously. It actually looks like he's almost coming down. The thermals aren't really lifting them up too high. A lot of swirling air gusts happening there. That's a marvelous job, Ferg. Fantastic. Well, I've got a photo on the screen here to show you what one of these beautiful guys look like. And hopefully the sunshine isn't going to affect it too much. Can you see it, Ferg? Let's just dampen that there. There's the white-headed vulture. You see typical sort of Jungle Book looking vultures. Look at that. That big, strong beak, the white, sort of very completely featherless head, and beautiful. They are really, really a beautiful bird, and I've probably only ever seen them a handful of times in my life. How fantastic is that? Thanks, Ferg. Very good on the camera work there. Birding without the mask on. Okay, so we're going to continue on, see what we can find, and let's go over to Taylor McCurdy. Wonder what she's up to.
Well, very nice that you got to see a white-headed vulture. We have got some red-billed hornbills hopping through the very tall grass. And I bet that they're hopping because they're trying to find grasshoppers. Let's see if they're going to catch one. There are many of them at the moment. That's also what went down my shirt, by the way. It was one that was being eaten by ants. It fell out of the tree. And that was a lot of fun. Please eat all the grasshoppers, hornbill. Might even be some dung beetles out on a hot day like today. Although we've seen hornbills eating many, many different things. We had one eating a scorpion. No, it wasn't a scorpion, it was a centipede, sorry. The other day we have seen them eating lots of scorpions, though. When they can find them, they will gobble them up. They'll eat lizards. They'll eat so many cool things. Oh, that's awesome. There was one that was bounding about, though, but they seem to have stopped. It was pretty impressive the way that they could move through that long grass. Look how they're hunting. Now, Joanna, I knew someone was going to ask this, if Maurice has a swimsuit. No, he doesn't. He doesn't like water very much. He's the weirdest elephant in the entire world that doesn't like water. That's okay. You can't like everything. I actually tried to put sunscreen, lots of sunscreen on my nose. You know, like as a kid, I have to take it off. It's very uncomfortable. It really is not a nice feeling to have so much sunscreen on your face. It probably isn't too good for you either. Yeah. Now they're disappearing. Come back, Hornbills. Chase something. There's so many grasshoppers in there, I know, because when I walk through them, I see them hop. Come on, look for it. It'd be really cool if we could see a chase. Now, not all animals can see in color. Birds typically see very well in sort of UV lights and certain colors. Insects and fish can see in certain colors too. So, Carla, most of the animals will probably be seeing some of them, but things like leopards and lions, I don't think that they'll see too much. They're sort of seeing in shades of, I suppose, black and grey, dark sort of grey colors. More than anything. So I don't think we'll bother them too much. They will see my snorkel, though. It'll be interesting to see what they think of my snorkel, because it stands above my head. But I wonder, although it's not that intrusive, it's pretty chilled, I think. Not too big. But yeah, I've noticed when people wear big hats on safari, and animals look at them like, oh, what is that? I haven't seen that shape before. Right, right, let's go over the dam wall. That's what we're probably going to do. Then Bubblesook Dam to have a look for the elephants. I'm hoping they will come back. We'll also check Warri Pan, because that's another spot that the elephant could go and wallow in. There's actually plenty of spots that the elephants could go wallowing in. But we'll have a little look-see. It's fairly quiet. What is that squirrel doing? Squirrel? Running towards us at a great speed. Hello. If I were you, I wouldn't be standing out in the open like that. Do you think it's looking at me going, oh my goodness. Taylor, what are you wearing? Now it's terrified and running away. Off it goes. Very cute. Tristan, I think all the animals run away from you all the time, don't they, normally? No, I'm just teasing. Of course they don't. Right, down to the dam we go. Let's see what else we can find. It's hard to see the mongoose and the squirrels out here. The grass is very, very tall. There's some spots where it's nice and short. Others, well, actually majority of the reserve, it's hard to see. Right, well, we're going to see if we can find some birds and some elephants, because I think that's what we're going to have to rely on today. So Tristan will probably be looking for similar things, or hopefully he'll find Kuchava at Chitwa. Oh, there we go, Tristan. Good luck with finding her.
Well, we are looking for similar things, and hopefully we will get some luck. It's close towards Chitwa. We're just going to go down Cheetah Cut Line now and just double check if there's anything this side and any sign of maybe Tingana or Hosana coming this way. So that's the kind of plan, and then on to Chitwa to go and get laughed at by a bunch of other people, which will be quite fun. Puma, you asking about leopard updates. So where should we start? Let's start with Hukamuri. Last known sighting of him was yesterday evening on Arathusa. He had a kill which was stolen from him, and then he kind of was on his way back to the east. Then we have Shadulu, who we had this morning going westwards. She chased a side-striped jackal and had a bit of a fight with what we think is either Tundi or Shadow last night. I'm pretty convinced it's Tundi given where I left her or where I lost her, but some are saying Shadow, so one of the two of them. Then the tracks for Tundi go east this morning and go past Galago and then towards Mvubu towards Gari Cutline. Nothing coming out there, so that's where she is. Kuchava and Cub's tracks were on Chitwa. Tingana, Hosana went into Little Gari. The new young male leopard that Steve had this morning, sounds like he was left just north of Gowrie Main, still mobile south, so I'm pretty sure he crossed into Little Gowrie as well. And Quarantine, I haven't heard anything about him. Who else is there? Who am I missing? Tumba, no updates for about 2 weeks now. That's about it. That's all I've really got, unfortunately. There's not really much else been happening. It seems like that's a lot, though. And then there's been a couple of dotted around young males and sort of males in their prime that have been also seen around Little Gowrie. Sorry, I hit the brakes quite hard there, Via. I just thought I saw something and now I've stalled as well. Armbands are getting in the way of the steering wheel at this stage. These might just be monkey tracks that I saw. I think I might have driven over them, unfortunately, which is not ideal. What have we got here? I can honestly say this is the first time I've ever tracked with a mask on my face, and can probably tell you that it'll be the last time that I do it too. It's not as easy as it might appear. It's also a lot hotter with a mask on your face, and pretty sure it wouldn't be the best thing to do an assessment for tracking in, but you never know. Maybe let's see how we go. It's just little monkey tracks that we had there. So Julie and Catherine, we don't really know what's going on with Tundi or the cub. If it was Tundi that was embroiled in that fight yesterday, I'd imagine she's licking her wounds somewhere and just having a bit of a rest and trying to recuperate from the fight that she had with Shadulu. If it was her, apparently Shadulu was on top and dominating the fight quite heavily until that male arrived and separated the two of them. And in terms of the cub, no signs since we last saw it with that scrub hare kill. And the way that Tundi was behaving yesterday, I still don't think that that cub is alive anymore. I think there might be a situation where that little one is gone, and that's why she was moving the way she was. I could be wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong, and that it was just Tundi trying to defend her territory and trying to sort of keep other females from coming in. But I have a funny feeling that that little one, unfortunately, is maybe not still with us anymore. The amount of new males we've got here really is going to make it almost impossible for her. I would be very surprised if that little one is alive and if it continues to stay alive. Given that you've got 4 new males plus Quarantine, Djuma, it's just too many male leopards for her to negotiate and to try and get around. Anyway, we'll see. You never know. I'm hoping for the best, but I don't know. I think we need to start preparing ourselves that it might not be the case. Good, we are still going southwards towards Chitwa. I'm still on the lookout for any signs of our spotty friends. I've still got my trusty fishball to try and entice them to the road. And while we do that, let's kind of send you back across to Steve and see how he's going. I think he's tracking in Pride, but I haven't heard any updates as yet.
No, we've given up hope on the lions this afternoon because I know there's some wonderful people out there that are dying to learn more about trees. And so we are going to do some more trees this afternoon. As I promised, going to look at a compound leaf. Now, this is an interesting tree I have not yet done on the show. There's some beautiful ones of these around. But you can have a look up here where my fingers are, that entire piece there is actually the leaf. And it's a very characteristic leaf. In fact, not each one is a leaflet. The entire piece is a leaf. I hope that is easy for you to understand. But if I had to pull off that entire piece, that entire thing would actually be the surface area of the leaf, and very important for us to remember that. And if I pull it off, ow, and I hold it there, can you see that, Ferg? What's very interesting and important to understand is that the leaflets go up in a ladder formation and they end in a sort of terminal leaflet on the end, which make it very easy to remember this plant, because when we look in the plant itself, they've also got spines, which are modified stems, very, very sharp, that also go up in a ladder formation. And this is called Zebrawood. Zebrawood, Dalbergia, melanoxylon, and it's actually got a 2-tone wood inside. It's probably one of the most beautiful woods you'll come across, and it's very highly valued for furniture, walking sticks, all sorts of wonderful things. And it is actually a tree that was used for Stone Age tools and spearheads many, many, many years ago. So the wood is extremely hard. It's extremely hard. And they don't grow very tall, but they are very, very dense and quite likely browsed by a kudu, giraffe, elephant, and also by myself, of course. The wood is antimicrobial, so nothing will actually move into the wood and eat it. And also you can use these leaves as a poultice for any kind of wound that you might get on your skin. And also, I think, for some toothache. Owl, dragon blood. I've never heard of dragon blood, but that seems to be something I need to put on my bucket list. Dragon blood tree. So I hope that answers that one question about compound leaves. I've got another example of a compound leaf here just for you quickly. I don't want to bore you too much, but I'm going to compare the Zebrawood compound leaf, which is this one. Sorry, Ferg. I'm going to put him there. And then I'm going to get another one, a very bad one, that is. And I'm going to put that one over there. And can you see the difference in those two? If I just move out of the light, this one has got the leaflets divided only once. So imagine this entire thing is the leaf, and all the leaflets are then individual. Okay, now if I do the same with the other leaf, this entire thing is the leaf, and each one of these is the leaflets, and they're divided twice. Does that make sense? So what we could call it is bipinnately compound. Very difficult to wrap your mind around, but the first one would be pinnately compound, because you would refer to this leaflet as a pinnae, and then if it is divided twice, you'd say bipinnately compound. So that is a double divided leaf. I hope that answers questions for you, and it's very important to understand those terminology in determining Cenac, I did eat the buffalo thorn leaf. It was the Terminalia sericea that I did not want to eat. This one over here, the buffalo thorn is like a spinach. This is extremely bitter, and those of you who are watching a bushwalk of mine about a month ago or two, Brent Leo Smith challenged me to eat one of these live, and you all watched it. You saw the look on my face. I will not do it again. Not today, anyway. Marvelous. Marvelous. The buffalo thorn, Cenac, is fed upon by many species. Many species. I feed on them. You can eat them just like that. It's a substitute for spinach, kudu, impala, elephant. I reckon even buffalo and zebra from time to time nibble on leaves like that. They're very palatable and very tasty. The only problem with the buffalo thorn, did I throw him away, is you've got to get past this double row of thorns. You've got to get past that. And in Afrikaans, this tree's got a very interesting name. We already spoke about how the leaves are very shiny leaves. And it's called a blinkblaar, which means shiny leaf, and then waggebikkie, which means to wait a minute. Because if I just show this to you on my shirt, where's Ferg? Are you there? On my shirt, it is very easy to catch you. If you're walking through the bush, this catches you. It is very painful. And there are some amazing cultural and traditional stories about this tree. All about the Zulus look forward to it in the fact that culturally they believe the forward pointing thorn is looking to the future, and the hooked thorn is looking back into the past to the ancestors. And so for very long time, they actually used to plant these on the graves of their fallen, of their chiefs, of their comrades. And I think primarily it started off as a means of preventing the hyenas from digging in, but then it started passing away a very sort of cultural, traditional belief that this actually protected them and their spirits. And they also believe, and it's something that is seen on battlefields still today, of Zulus that go back in time, not back in time, but they go back to battlefields from 100 years ago, 150 years ago, and they try and hook the spirit of their dead or fallen family member and try and bring it back to a place of rest. So by grabbing the spirit there, and you bring it back, and then you plant this or place this on the grave where the body is lying. So very nice and traditional stories that are wrapped around these beautiful trees, and a marvelous tree indeed, the buffalo thorn. I hope that answers your question, Cenac. Sure, it is definitely a warm afternoon. By those thermals that we saw, all of those vultures are going up and away. I think the elephant carcass is eventually finished. And I think they are now looking for something a little bit more palatable, not tasty, because I'm pretty sure it is quite it's quite overdone by now. Okay, well, let's quickly go to Taylor before her bird flies away.
It's definitely not flying anywhere, I can promise you that, because it's on a nest. We're just trying to get a view, so please bear with us. Sorry, we weren't ready. That's going to probably be the best thing. Here we go. It is the bird, and it is the go-away bird. This is the first time I think I've ever seen a go-away bird sitting on a nest, which is really, really quite cool. I would not have expected their nest to actually look like this. It seems to be quite a simple nest. It doesn't look like it's deep, like a beautiful cup nest that, say, the flycatchers make, because they make really nice cup nests. Weird, but protected, because it's up in a knob thorn, so that's a good place to build a nest. You have all those thorns protecting you on the outside. This is really, really quite cool. I thought it would be quite late at this time of the year to sort of start breeding as we're coming into winter. But I suppose we did have some really, really good rain. I also don't know how long this bird has been sitting on its nest, how many eggs are in there. Maybe there are chicks. Who actually knows? But that's so, so cool to see. That's really amazing. Trying to think, what would you call that kind of a nest? Because I don't know if you could call it. It doesn't look like is it like a platform nest? Very difficult to see up in there, but not a deep cup at all. I'm going to go with like a miniature platform nest. I mean, a lot of the eagles make big platform nests. Typically, we see, like, for instance, the vultures on the tops of the trees. But in this case, it's a small one, which is really quite cool. Very nice. Very hot, though. You can see on a day like today. A little bit of shade, though, not too much sun. I don't know, I've never actually seen, I can't believe I've never seen a go-away bird on a nest before. I've seen them flying with nesting material. I've never ever captured one before, which was quite nice. Very nice. Well, we're on our way towards Buffelshoek Dam. We'll keep an eye out on this nest. It's just very difficult to see up top there, as you can imagine. So we'll head towards Buffelshoek Dam and see what else we can find. Goodness, it's bright out today. Okay. Also checking to see what other tracks are here. It doesn't look like anybody's driven here. All the animals have been very, very busy all day long on this road. Every time I look back, I'm blinded myself. That sun is bright this afternoon, that's for sure. What do you think about a swim in Buffelshoek Dam, Craig? You'll watch me. Craig says he'll watch me. That's nice. I'll swim with the terrapins and the 3 hippo. Eric, yes. Thanks for asking this question, because I actually commented last night on Twitter and said that you should totally ask me this question on the next safari. So the question is, because I'm going to repeat it, is what is the quickest you've ever seen the big 5 on a safari? And I've got quite a cool story. I'm hoping we're going to get to Buffelshoek Dam. Nikki, remember we're going to do that thing where we go through the little dip and the gremlins get us. But bear with me, because we will eventually come back up onto the dam wall. It's just a tiny little dip. So basically one day I was at the lodge, and we were having high tea, and at high tea we saw a rhino come down and drink. It was really nice. So a white rhino and a calf come and drink. Very cool. Sitting watching that, sipping our coffee or having a little homemade lemonade, a few snacks. Then a herd of elephants came through, chased the rhino away. Then they splashed around. Then a big herd of buffalo, about 200 buffalo, pushed on in after the elephants had gone off, because you don't really find too many. Oh wow! I can't believe the gremlins didn't get me there. Must be the armbands. Maybe Wendy's nervous that I am going to drive her into Buffelshoek Dam if she misbehaves. Hello, hippo. There's only 2 hippos today. Oh, buffalo as well. Here we go. There's one of the big 5. So now we've seen rhino, elephants, and buffalo come and drink. The buffalo then rested. I then went out on safari, and as I left safari, you won't believe what we saw. A leopard. Lisbon, my favorite leopard in the whole wide world. So there Lisbon was, and it was like we literally just pulled out of the lodge and we were on the access road out. And there she was. So she walked us back to the lodge. Off we go, follow her to the lodge. This is the night that she decided she's going to catch a bushbuck on top of the roof of Earth Lodge. So now we've got 4 out of the big 5. And follow her. It was the most incredible day I think I've ever had in my entire life, in terms of what I've seen on a safari with guests, because I've had some pretty spectacular ones here. So she climbs onto the roof, she chases this bushbuck, she catches it, she's dangling it from the roof of the beautiful spa, and yes, the bushbuck was on the roof, Nikki. Earth Lodge is built into the ground. It's pretty epic. And so you basically walk and you walk down the coolest pathway to get into the lodge, but you go underneath the ground. It's really amazing. So animals can walk up quite easy. You can Google it. You can have a look at that lodge. It's beautiful. So now this leopard is now dangling this bushbuck, and I think I've shared a picture on Twitter. You're welcome to reshare it again so Eric can also see, and anybody else that missed that story. Lisbon then tried to pull the bushbuck up and let go. Then the bushbuck fell about 6 meters. What is that hippo doing? It wants me to come and swim, I think. And it fell down. It landed okay. It broke a couple of these big slabs of concrete that little blocks that they'd for people to walk on, because it was in the Zen garden now. And then off the bushbuck ran. Leopard followed afterwards and ran down to the dam. We then tried to find it. We bumped into another herd of elephants drinking. Now we've got leopard, elephants, and bushbuck all in one sighting. The bushbuck got away. Lisbon then was exhausted and went and sat down and had a rest. We then went for sundowners, and as we were having sundowners, we didn't go far at all. I think this entire game drive we went maybe about 2 kilometers away from the lodge, and we heard lions roaring. Guess where the lions were? At suite number 10. So we had the entire big 5 within one afternoon safari. I had 4 out of the big 5 within the first half an hour when we hadn't even left the lodge yet, and then the lions completed it right at the end, the Southern Pride, and the 2 Charleston males roaring outside room 10, which they spent the next 2 weeks there, which was pretty cool. Which was amazing, hey? But a hippo, unfortunately, not part of the big 5, even though one of the most dangerous animals out there. They seem to be very playful this afternoon. They were splashing about. Let's see if this big bull is going to behave the way he was in a minute. Hello, big boy. Beautiful. Just cruising slowly. It's coming across to the other hippo. Maybe they'll have an awesome interaction. So we'll wait and see. They're mouthing the water. You're very playful, aren't you? Trying to get... There you go. The hippo's now opening its mouth. Oh, it opened its mouth. Let's see what goes on here. Are they going to have a little standoff? Normally what 2 male hippos do is they often mouth the water like that, and then like the one on the left just will raise their bottoms out of the water, swish their tail around and defecate. As if to say, right, this is my half of the watering hole, you can have the other half. I don't know if the other one is a male or a female on the right, but it does look significantly smaller than the fella on the left. Perhaps it's a girl. We'll have to wait and see. Could also be a young bull. Very difficult to tell the sexes when they're in the water. Anna Marie, I bet you say that that's your kind of safari. It was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It was really, truly amazing. I've never seen anything like it again. I think maybe this is a male and a female. Look how frisky. Look, he just looks excited. It doesn't look like he's upset in any way. It's like he's a bit flirty this afternoon. What do you think? There you can see the size difference. The one on the right is definitely much larger. No, you're going past. You're playing hard to get, buddy. Perhaps. That reminds me of my mother when she swims. She just keeps her head above the water because she doesn't want to get her hair wet, and then she does breaststroke. It's really funny to watch. Don't tell my mum I said that, though. Maybe he is looking at me, Nikki. I don't know. Perhaps it's my armbands. I don't know. Is orange my colour? I don't really think orange is my colour. I might say so myself. Do you want me to come in? Should I come and swim? Look at the terrapins, Craig. They're all egging me on. The terrapins are going... I have to speak underwater now. Taylor! Taylor can't get into that! The water's great! It's so warm! Hey, look at this stuff. It's nice and green. It's so fantastic. I think that's what the terrapins are saying to me. Although there's too much buffalo urine and dung in there for me, and hippo dung, so I'm probably going to give it a skip. Now all we need is a herd of elephants to come down, don't you think? I think that's really all we're missing. Or perhaps a lion or something to come down and have a drink. We'll see what's going on over here. Otherwise, we're going to head towards Agwari Pan to see if anybody's come down to drink down that way. Steve, however, has got out of his car and is now sitting on the floor.
Not on the floor, Taylor. I am on my own beach. Ferg and I are clowning around. We have found something which I think is very, very interesting. And the first thing we stopped at is where the sand has been coming off the road here. You can see there's a digging. It's not a very deep digging. Can you see that, Ferg? Not a very deep digging, but then it's a very nice pile of sand over there, but there's been some rain. Now, when I see something like this in sand like this, I'm almost 100% sure. I haven't checked yet. First time I showed this to you all on a bushwalk, I cheated and I looked first. This time I've waited so that we can uncover the secrets together. Are you ready? Who knows what it's going to be? See if you can comment in my ear before I reveal the answer. But we're going to dig and we're going to find something in here. I hope I'm right this time, Fergs. I hope I'm right. What am I looking for? I hope I'm right, Fergs. It's possible that I'm wrong in this endeavor, but I hope I'm not. I am digging like A. Starts with an A. I'm not digging very well, I'll tell you that for sure. Okay, well, it looks like my endeavor has failed, and it was probably just a little exploratory dig. Scorpion? No, Francis, not a scorpion. It is a very big digging over here, but it appears that my digging is futile. What I was looking for, ladies and gentlemen, with a digging like this in sand and a pile of soil like that, is it's very characteristic of an aardvark that they use for a toilet. But it appears that I have been misled in my endeavors here, but that's okay. Wendy, not tortoise eggs, I'm afraid. But while we are parked out on the beach here, I didn't just stop for that. I wanted to talk a little bit more about some plants. And we have got 4 specimens on the ground here that are very easily confused. Now, first of all, let's have a look at this first one. Ferg, have a look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Can you see the leaf? I think we can all agree that it is a simple leaf. And if we look at the structure, we can see that the 2 leaves are arranged oppositely on the stem. Do you agree? And if I look at the tip of this leaf, characteristically, the tip of this leaf actually twists up like a pig's tail. Okay, now if I move over to the second sample, which is right next to it, it has also got a simple leaf. The leaves are also, if I show you that way, also opposite. So how am I going to tell the difference? Well, the tip does not twist up. And if we looked in the light, if I show it to you like that, Ferg, if you can get the light on it, does it have a little orangey, red, brown coloration to it? There's a few little brownish hairs over there, which make it very easily identified versus this sample over here. But what's important to note is that they are both bush willows. One is a red bush willow and one is a russet bush willow, but the similarities are very, very similar. That twist of the leaf is what gives it away, and the hair and the small leaves over here is what give them away. But look at the samples I have taken. Can you see how both of them are attached with pods? And that is how you should always try and grab a sample. Never bring to someone just a leaf, because you need the structure, you need the bark, you need the pod if you can, the flower if you can, and also you need proof of if there was latex when you harvested it. Another thing to take into consideration, where did you find it on the landscape? And maybe take a picture of the tree, and that will make it very easy for you to identify. If you came home with this leaf and asked someone to identify it, they would not have a clue what you're talking about. Okay, one more quick one. Have a look. I've got 2 very similar plants over here. You can see the leaves are also, but they are compound. I think you all agree with me. They are twice compound. Do you agree? Both of them, this one and this one, are both very, very similar in their design. There's a slight difference in color, but what are we going to look at first? Let's have a look at this one. And on each of these stems, that sharp stem, there's a very sharp spine. Very sharp spine over there. Very sharp spine. This is the sickle bush, whereas this has got absolutely no spines. Very small brown hairs on the end, and I could easily put my face in it and not hurt myself. I would not attempt to do that with this one. So even though they look almost identical, you need to understand the differences between them so as to identify them correctly. Willow, age 3, I've yet to throw up from eating leaves. I nearly did with that silver clus leaf that one day. I really did, but that was just disgusting. But I've yet to throw up. But I hope you enjoyed that little lesson on leaves and plants out here in the wilderness, how to identify them. Sidhart, what types of fruits are edible? We've got the brown ivory fruit, which is very edible. The magic guari has got fruit. They're also edible. Jackalberries, marula, both the blue and the common sour plum are very edible. Trying to think what else. The buffalo thorn also has fruit that is edible. White berry bush, there's a marvelous amount of them. And they generally come out in the summer. There are a few that come out in winter. Some of the acacias produce pods that you can eat. I tried to eat one yesterday. I'm glad I didn't do it on air because it was revolting. Okay, but we're going to continue on our endeavors, and let's go over to Tristan. I have no idea what he's doing, but I'm sure it's something comical.
Well, Steve, I don't think we have any idea what we're doing either. No, I'm just kidding. We're in Chitwa and we're exploring the back roads of Chitwa. In fact, the road that we call Back Door, actually, on Chitwa, which is an old access road towards the camp, but my mask is giving me a bit of problems. Now, you'll have noticed that I've ditched my swimming cap, and that's because my head felt as though it was being put into an oven and then tightened slowly but surely, and I actually think I was starting to get a serious kind of headache developing from it, so we thought, well, let's get rid of that for now. We'll wear it again later when it gets a bit cooler, but we had to kind of do something, otherwise I don't think I would have carried on with the drive for too long. My head was starting to pulse. It feels like when you tighten something too tight on your fingers or your arms, it was something like that. Now, we've driven past a few guests. Many of them have looked at me like I'm a complete nutter, which we know that I am, but at least we entertain some people today. It's always funny when people whip out their phones and take some photos of you instead of photographing anything else that's around you. But anyway, we apparently are entertaining to those around us, which is quite funny. Now, interestingly enough, I haven't driven this road in, I don't even know, I think the last time I drove this road was in 2012, and it was because of a sighting of torchwood, funnily enough, of all leopards that we see. So torchwood is a leopard that was in this area that's moved down to the western Sabi Sands now, and central and western Sabi Sands, and this is the last time and the first and last time I ever saw him, which was right here on this road. So I haven't driven this road in 6 years, if you can believe that, which is a long time. Anyway, right, now I'm going to carry on. It seems as though Steve is having all the luck today and sounds like he might have some spots.
It's just Vulture. There he is. We found him. He's not very relaxed. I think it's the same male from this morning. Let's just sit very quietly. He's busy growling at the car. I think he's quite hot and bothered. It is definitely a young male leopard. I think it's the same guy we found this morning. We were just turning the corner there, and Ferg's like, leopard. And it's the same guy. He's telling me, stop, don't come closer. And so we're going to respect that. We're going to stay right here. How beautiful is that? Hey, Ferg, we're on a roll today, sir. Okay, you didn't get a view of the face. Ferg, unfortunately, didn't quite get in on time, but he was looking at us as I was moving in, and he was having a bit of a growl. So we're just going to give him some space, let him move off into the shade there, and then we'll try and reposition again. That is incredible. It definitely looks like the same male from this morning, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to just try move up a little bit, so we don't want to lose him, but without causing him any distress. Well done, Ferg. See what playing around with trees can do for you. Twice in one day. He was right next to the road. Well, pretty much. Norika, about the leopard that Tristan said broke the fight last night. This is the one, but we don't know who it is. I think some people were tweeting that there were pictures taken of it in Ngala, which is up the Kruger Park Timavati side, further north from here, in 2015, which would make this guy at least 3 years old. And he's small. He's a small cat. Very small leopard. He's just moving off there. I think he's starting to relax a little bit. We're giving him some space. Not too concerned, really. How marvelous is that? There he goes. Look at that. Isn't he beautiful? You can definitely see it's a male. You see the genitals at the back. But don't you all agree, folks? It's a very small tom. That's why I wouldn't have thought it would have been older than a year and a bit by the size. But while we're trying to reposition, let's go over to Taylor McCurdy, who's got a Franklin.
I've decided that every time we see a Franklin, particularly a crested Franklin, we're going to try and put it on screen. I think I tried to do this once last year before I went up to the Mara, and there are actually two of them. One is a lot braver than the other because they wanted to run away from us initially, and then I thought to Craig, if we roll into the sighting and we just sit here, maybe they'll come back out. And one has, the other one is hiding behind the wattle, not convinced. And this one's quite happy though to dig through some old elephant dung. This morning we were watching them feast on the white berry bush, and now this afternoon we're watching them dig through dung, getting maybe some undigested seeds. Perhaps there's some termites or little beetles that are living under there. You can see whatever it's pecking is relatively small. Come on, other one, come out. Ooh, now, who cares? I might need your help here, because I don't know if I can remember the ugly 5 birds. Marabou stork, vultures. I think it's any one of the vultures, because they're not beautiful, let's be honest. Marabou stork, vultures. Or is it the lapid-faced vulture? It's a lapid-faced vulture. No, I've gone blank. Who else is there? Craig, can you remember? I'm genuinely trying to remember the ugly bird. Is it the ugly or the big 6 birds? I don't know if there's an ugly 5 birds. I know there's the big 6 birds, which is the Pell's fishing owl, the lapid-faced vulture, the martial eagle, and I've got to try and remember that. I don't know if I'm going to remember all of them. Who else is in there? I had to learn this once upon a time for a Fogasa exam, but now I can't even remember. I've gone blank. No man, Taylor. I think Marabou stork is also in there. Possibly. I don't know. There's another question coming in, so I can't carry on answering that. I'll try and figure that out a little bit later. Anyways, maybe you can help me there. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure I have it written down somewhere in one of my books. These birds actually can fly, ID Master. Not as well as an eagle, but very much like a chicken. So they often roost up in trees, or when they feel frightened and they need to get away, they will fly a short height and sit up in a tree. But they're not disappeared. They're not done digging in that dung. And when you see them, they're not graceful. I mean, they fly up and then they come down again. They're very much like a chicken. Bye. Sorry for the second one that was too scared to come back out. I will try and remember the big 6 birds. I don't think there is an ugly bird. There's an ugly 5, which includes the marabou stork and the lapid-faced vulture. But then there's also the wildebeest, the hyena, warthog. Yeah, those are them. We'll try and have a little figure out. I might have to write it down and then I shall remember the big 6 birds as well if I do that. Anyways, off you go back to Steve, who's, well, I think he's still with that leopard. Perhaps he's trying to get another view.
Yes, we are. He's not too bothered with us anymore. He gave me that initial, don't come any closer than that, and I didn't. And since then, hasn't given us much of a look. But a few squirrels were playing around in the little bushes to our left, and they got the fright of their lives and have since disappeared. But yet, they are not making an alarm call, which is why I don't really trust the squirrels for alarm calls, because there's a leopard right here, and they are not making a sound. Exactly. So we're going to see if we could try keep up with him. He's going back into the thick stuff we followed him through this morning. And obviously we don't want to distress him too much with the crashing of branches and stuff. So let's see if we can just go around here. Try keep in the open. Try get in front of him so as we can get a nice sort of frontal shot without any vegetation in the way. Wouldn't that be marvelous? I think so. Well done, Ferg, for spotting him. Very impressed. He's just walking through the long grass there. Sorry, Ferg, let me try get in front, eh? Ivy Master, I don't think he weighs as much as a Tom should weigh. I mean, he's small. He really is small. I'm trying to think now on the weight. He looks like he weighs the same as that of a female leopard. And just like that, he disappears into the long grass. He's just here somewhere, ladies and gentlemen. He's just here. He's just laid down and he's invisible. Incredible. Absolute masters of camouflage, stealth. He's in there somewhere. Remember, he did this morning, so I reckon he probably weighs about 45 kilograms, so 90 odd pounds, 100 pounds maybe. But that is an absolute guess. I do not know. Can you see him, Ferg? Fantastic. Okay. Look at those spots. How marvelous, ladies and gentlemen. Second time in one day. There we go. Our leopard searching has been very successful on our third day back at work, Ferg. Thank you for your assistance. Look at those spots, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't that just incredible how he's able to camouflage like that? We're going to stay with him and maybe he'll move into a better position. But right now, I think he's just enjoying a little bit of the shade. Cenac leopards are very, very adept at hunting squirrels. They would hunt anything really that came along. Scrub hare, mongoose, anything really. Franklin, but they can't physically catch squirrels. They are very, very good at it. And some leopards use it as sort of like play toys, for practice when they're younger. And I believe Tumba is quite a successful squirrel catcher. I think I heard that. Wow. Amelia, leopard cubs get taught to hunt by their mother. They also have the instinct in them. There's a lot of instinct driven. I mean, if any of you have got a domestic cat, you will know that from a young age, they're very good at catching things, very good at chasing things, very good at chasing balls and little laser lights that you might throw along the floor. And instinctively, they know how to hunt. But they also practice with mum. But a lot of it is instinct in the way that they just are. And then a lot of the takedown techniques and the killing technique is something that mum teaches them. Something that often youngsters don't really know how to do, the physical throttle or choke that they ends up dispatching the animal to at the end, but they're always very easy or able to catch something. And then once they've caught it and stopped moving, they're not quite sure what to do about it. Safari Heart, I have no idea how many leopards this area can support, but it just keeps going on and on and on. More leopards, more leopards. I really have no idea. I don't think anybody knows how many leopards the Sabi Sands can actually hold, but we just keep seeming to find them. And we can obviously know about the territorial males and females, but it's impossible to know about the sort of interlopers or young males or females moving through the territories of others. I mean, for example, we might see this male today, he might pass on through, and we might never see him again. And where he ends up, who knows? So I'm really enjoying my time here and seeing how dynamic and diverse the leopard sort of population can be and how many individuals we see at any given time. I mean, the first time I saw the Shadulu female was actually right here where we are. Right here, just on the corner of the road we just found him on. So they seem to have sort of thoroughfares that they go through, especially the youngsters. They sort of feel a way through and then move along that sort of line. Just moving in the long grass there. Doing a little bit of grooming. I'm sorry we can't get a better shot than this, folks, but this is as much pressure as I want to put on this youngster. He's not showing any more signs of being upset, so we're doing a good job. He's getting used to my calm and soothing voice. And it's important to be sensitive like this, otherwise you just chase them and you'll never see them. So by being relaxed, get them used to the fact that there is a vehicle. What is that big smelling petrol vehicle? There he's moving again. He's coming straight towards us now, folks. Get your screenshots ready. There we go. How marvelous. See, if this was not relaxed, it would not be behaving like this. It would have run away, would have skulked away. You can see how easily it could have disappeared from us now. There's the money shot. There's the money shot. Can we go a little bit wider there, Fergie? You're good, eh? Fantastic. It's only about 3 meters in front of the car now. There's the beautiful face. Sorry if my head gets in the way. Please, folks, take your screenshots. Hashtag Safari Live. Tag me in it. Tag Tristan. Tag Taylor. Add this to our diversity of leopards in the area. So cool to see him moving now. That's why you don't expect to see a cat moving at this time of day, because it is still quite hot. Now, I will try and stay with him for as long as I can. Obviously, if it gets too thick and we become quite difficult, but the longer we can stay with him, the more sort of relaxed he gets to the vehicle, the movement, the noises. But as you could see, he was quite relaxed walking past there. An unrelaxed leopard we wouldn't even see. Just hold on, I'm just going to talk on the radio. Standing by, Jos. That's affirmative. Just if you go onto Rebecca's from Philemon's Cutline and Mendoza, just go up Rebecca's. We're just northeast of the road now, or of that junction. Okay, we're just going to go over to Taylor while we try relocate. The opposite side, Jos, complete opposite side with that new road.
Oh, sorry. Just quickly jotting something on down. So, just quickly going back, I finally wrapped my brain around the bird question. I think it might be the goggles are too tight on my head. So I'm pretty sure there's no ugly 5 in birds, but we can make one. But there are 2 birds that feature in the ugly 5. Like we said earlier, it was the marabou stork and the leopard-faced vulture, along with the warthog, wildebeest, and hyena, which create the ugly 5. But there's the big 6 birds. And I had to actually sit and write it down, otherwise I couldn't remember it, but it was. Leopard-faced vulture was one of them. Pell's fishing owl was another. Martial eagle was another one. Saddle-billed stork. Southern ground hornbill, Corey bustard. Those are the big 6 birds. Shall we create an ugly 5 birds? I know we've done the 5 prettiest birds before. We did that ages ago. Remember, and actually it was last year sometime too. But let's create the 5 ugly birds that we see. And it doesn't just have to be South Africa. We'll do the whole of Africa. So there we go. Get creative. Hashtag Safari Life. Mine is going to be leopard-faced vulture, marabou stork. What else have we got that's not... I didn't find ostriches particularly pretty. Although they've got nice eyes. I'm a bit jealous of their big eyes, big beady eyes and their eyelashes, but we'll put ostrich in anyway. I'm also going to add... I don't want to add a shoebill stork because I love them and I really want to see them. Craig, what other birds are not particularly beautiful? What do you think? What small birds? It's a tough one, hey? Turtle doves, so average. I'm sorry, turtle doves. That's how I feel about you. And so there's it is. So, what else? What? Where? No ways. Craig has just seen a leopard while I'm too busy thinking about birds. Do you want to go in here? This is Tundi's area. Okay, we'll get back to the birds, obviously. On the right-hand side of the road, Craig. There is a leopard. Oh, hello. You look very much like Hosana. Hello, Hosana. Well spotted, Greg. Here's me talking nonsense about, yes, yeah, kitty. Typical, hey? Hello, big boy. Have you just woken up from your nap? I think so. He's now going behind the car. Please don't come and sit in our shade again. So we'll have to see what he's up to. Let me turn around very quickly. Yay! Well done, Craig. I've missed that completely. I didn't even see him. I already looked at the camera, looked back at the road, and we'd gone past the pathway. No, where did he go? Did he go off to the right? I would assume he would have gone to the right. Let's see. Hosana, banana, thank you for showing yourself. Craig, where did he go? No. Oh, there he is, behind the termite mound. Hosana, don't go in there. Don't. It's too thick. Yeah. I shouldn't have gymmed arms today. You turned the steering wheel quite a bit. How nice. I bet you're all happy to see Hosana. I'm going to also have to call this in a minute. Okay, we'll squeeze through here. Let's watch him. Right. We are going to try and follow Hosana through here. It seems as though there's a warthog that's sneaking up to Steve's leopard.
Yes, watch closely. I'm not going to say too much. He's stalking just behind this pig. He's coming up behind. Watch very closely, folks. He's about 3 meters behind this warthog. He's to the left of it, Ferg. He's just behind that bush. Okay, folks, so just pay very careful attention. I'm not going to make too much noise now. We could see something dramatic. There is a small family of pigs. He's just crouched down in the long grass behind. I can't even see him anymore, but he was moving straight towards these animals. Okay, so the riot is moving towards him. Pay attention. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have a leopard, a young male leopard who has got his eyes locked on a small family of warthog. We're not going to leave the action. The leopard is about 3-4 meters away. There he is. He's in the shade. He's in perfect cover. There's 2 warthogs here, adults with a very small little baby. And I've no doubt he's going to lock his eyes on the baby. He's paying attention. Look at that. This is unbelievable. We're coming to you live from Djuma in the Sabi Sands. This is a young male leopard we have never seen before. We saw him for the first time last night and then again this morning. And everyone in South Africa, those who'd like to visit South Africa, this is the Sabi Sands, and this is what we see on a regular basis. The diversity of leopards in this area, in the Sabi Sands, are fantastic. And as I said, we've never seen this male before. Last night, new male moving through. There's some warthogs. They are the primary food, or one of the primary foods of, oh no, pay attention, pay attention. Oh no, that baby, Anita says, let's see if he's going to go for it. He's moving. He might miss his chance. Look at the intention on his eyes. We are watching this live from a game viewer in the South African bush. This is what people come here for. One of the greatest tourist destinations in South Africa, and the best for seeing the wild African leopard. Hello from Santorini, California, Australia. Welcome to the show. This is 100% live. I'm not going to move a muscle. He's going. He's got it. Oh, he's missed it. He's come back. Ladies and gentlemen, that just happened live. Let's go see if he catches this little pig. Unfortunately, and my name is Steve Falkenbridge. I'm joined by Ferg on camera. Terribly sorry that we are moving so quickly. The excitement is fantastic. Let's see if he's managed to catch this little pig. It was moving very, very quickly. There he goes. Ah, he missed it, folks. He missed it. He is just here in the long grass. I don't know who was more tense during that moment, the warthog or myself. But here he is. That little piggy did an absolutely amazing little run. Go, little piggy. I don't know how many of you were cheering him or her. Made a little squeal. Fantastic. Folks, this is coming to 100% live from South Africa, where the leopards are diverse in the Sabi Sands. Magical, magical, magical. Yes, indeed, everybody. This is amazing. And we are here on our own, just me and Fergus. How fantastic was that? Oof, my heart is absolutely pounding in the back of my head. Ellen, Singita, 1997, 98. I used to work there. Marvelous place. I'm sure you saw a ton of leopards. I am sure you took lots of photos. And you got the leopards nice and close. Sabi Sands is, or Singita is in the Sabi Sands, one of the properties anyway. And that is not far from where we are. It's a little bit further south. We still have this male leopard moving through here. He's just going around there. Maybe he's not done with his warthogs for the day. Fantastic. Those of you might be wondering why I'm wearing goggles around my neck. We are launching a Dive Live segment this afternoon, directly after our game drive from the Grand Cayman Islands, where our director, Graham Wallington, is going to be diving live just for you. How fantastic is that? There he is. Ferg, should we go around this way? Okay, folks, we're just going to try one more little loop around here to see if we can get you a visual of his face, because he's a very pretty young male. Siam, the leopard does not want tofu. Tofu is for vegetarians, and leopards are 100% carnivores in the order Carnivora. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have lost sight of him for the moment. So we are going to bid you all adieu. And if you'd like to continue watching our show, please just Google Safari Live, where the action never stops. Have a good afternoon. Okay, so you're back with us, folks. How incredible was that? I'm speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. Just hope we haven't lost him now in all of that. He is probably just lying just here in the long grass. If I don't stall my car, we'll be able to find him. It's a rather large hole on my right, so I apologize to this little bush that I'm going to have to push over. I last saw him just in here. Oh no, Fergus, have we lost him? He is a very good camouflage expert. Very, very good. But he's also got the habit of, as we follow him around a bush, of going the other way. And there you hear the Franklin's alarm calling now. I wonder if they've spotted him, Ferg. Seems to sound like it, eh? There he goes. So that's why listening to the alarm calls of the bush are so important. Franklin up in the tree, leopard in the road. Thank you, birds, for your undying support in finding our spotted friends. Oh, isn't that glorious? I am super excited. I have no idea what to say about what we've just witnessed. No idea what we just witnessed. And I didn't get to see it very well on the screen because it happened so fast. Ferg, did you manage to capture that whole backwards and forwards motion? Nix is saying you did, so well done, Mr. Fergus. Well done. That is what we call the money shot. Okay, so let's get a shot of him walking through the long grass. Just got a thorn in his foot. Isn't that beautiful? You see, that's why we listen to Franklin's more than squirrels. Because it's very obvious when we saw those squirrels earlier that they didn't make a sound, but the Franklin, very reliable. But while we catch up with this beautiful male leopard, let's go back over to Tristan and see what exciting news he has for us.
Well, it seems as though it's all happening on the Djuma side. Here on Chitwa, not very much, unfortunately, and nowhere near as much action this side of life. We are kind of in the area of where Taylor and sort of Brent have had tracks for Kuchava over the course of the last few days, but we can't find anything from this afternoon. I've only got tracks from this morning, and there's a waterbuck actually over there. So I was hoping that maybe in this drainage section she might have kind of stashed the cub or be moving around here. I think she's got to kill somewhere. Just given the amount of tracks that there are going back and forth all over the place, I wonder if she doesn't have a carcass here somewhere in this area that she's been taking the cub to. So we're kind of just checking around. The waterbuck looks very relaxed. It doesn't seem as though it's too phased by what's going on and what is happening at the moment. Now, you'll notice that I took my mask off, and it's because the sun is at such an oblique angle that it was literally blinding me. It was kind of had this magnifying glass effect towards my eyes, and it was not very pleasant at all. So took those off. Also, we need to get serious now because we need to be able to try and find this leopard. I'm hoping we can try and get this little cub on screen for the very first time today, so that's why we're here and why we're looking around. Hopefully we'll get some semblance of luck. The problem is the area that she's walking around in is very, very dense, and it is not an easy section to find any leopard. And I remember countless times trying to find Tundi in all of this, and it really is difficult. And if she's anything like her mom, she's very good at hiding in plain sight, so she could be anywhere here. I'm just trying to drive all the little sort of spots where I used to find Tundi regularly when I worked at Chitwa, and in the hope that maybe she imparted some of her knowledge onto Kuchava, and that's why she's spending some time in this area. So James, in terms of choice of territory for a leopard, I suppose one is the lack of other leopards that are in the area. So, I mean, a situation for males particularly, it would be the least competition possible, although at the moment it seems as though that has kind of gone out the window with so many males coming in here. But it could be because there's no male that's really vocalizing at the moment. There's no male that's kind of laying his claim to this area and saying, this is mine, stay away. And that's maybe why we're seeing multiple males coming in. But there also then needs to be food, there needs to be water, and there needs to be suitable habitats in the form of thickets, drainage lines, areas where they can feel comfortable that they can either get away from danger or utilize to be able to stalk and to be able to hunt. And so those are the kind of criteria that they'll look for, and females will be pretty similar. They'll probably be hoping for an area that's got a few females, it's got good denning spots, water and food, and that's basically what they go after. Now most females will inherit a kind of portion from their moms, and that'll make life a lot easier for them. But some, like Tsakani and potentially even like Shongile, they might have a situation where they've got to go a little further afield in order to be able to find what they're looking for. Now I want to just drop down into the drainage here, check this side of the drainage, see what's going on and see what we've got. Maybe, you never know, Kuchava might be lying down here in the shade somewhere. Good. While we do that, let's send you back across to Steve, who's, I'm sure, absolutely thrilled with following around this new character on Safari Live.
Yes, I am, Tristan. I am so over the moon with what we nearly saw, and what we actually saw, should I say. I mean, I'm quite happy for the pig at the end of the day. It did the most amazing about turn 360. I thought it had it, hey, Ferg? I would love to see the replay of what we saw there, because he was right on the bottom of that warthog, and it managed to turn, and just the acceleration of it. So you can see how fast the leopard is, but with the hooves on these hooved animals gives them a lot more sort of the purchase on the ground, rather than the pads on the leopards, which give them the silent walking. The hooves give them much harder purchase on the ground, which means they can push off with a little bit more force. And I think that pig was running with everything it had. Absolutely everything that it had. Eloise, what happened there with the chase is that if it got it on the first attempt, it would have obviously stopped. But if it had got away, you saw how when the pigs were moving off, if the pigs hadn't moved off and the leopard had got closer, it would have allowed it to do a really quick dart over about 15, 20 meters. That's generally like the attack distance. But the pigs moved off a bit. He had to run through the long grass, and because he'd committed, then he got a bit tired on that second about turn, and he wasn't running for his life. He was running just for food, whereas the warthog was running for its life. So there's a lot more energy and also, what's the right word, motivation behind the warthog's escape than the leopard's feeding. So the leopard can always hunt another day, but that for me is the best and most incredible leopard chase I've ever seen. I've never ever seen a leopard chase something and pull it down. I've seen them stalk and then kill something in the thick bush, but we just happened to be in such a nice open area which facilitated the leopard getting closer, but also the fact that Ferg could turn the camera back and forward again to get not only the left leg but the right leg of the chase, which to me was absolutely fantastic. I'm still over the moon. Ferg, what are your comments? Ferg just grunted. He went, very good. First lady predators miss their prey a lot, most of the time. I think wild dogs probably got the top with regards to predator success. They're quite high up, probably in the 80s. But I would say leopards miss 4 out of 5. Maybe less. It depends on the leopard, depends on experience. Obviously, with age comes experience and condition of animals also, not just the animal itself, but the animals they're chasing. When drought conditions come in, the ambush specialists are more successful because animals are forced to come to the water. And if a leopard or a lion is very patient, it can pay off for them. But the success of these predators is actually far lower than most people think. But then they only need to eat every week or two a proper meal. They will eat more if they can, but they don't need to be as successful as catching all the time. But then sometimes you can be with a leopard and it kills twice or 3 times in a morning. I was once with a lioness that killed 6 times in the space of 2 hours, but that was the fact of impala just constantly coming down to this last puddle of water, and it would wait and wait and wait until individuals came down, and then it would take them out. When they came in groups, it would just wait. So it's tactics, it's experience. Rob, I'm not sure when he'd hunt again. The thing is, the opportunity, if it arises, he will do something. If something materialized nearby him now, he would probably make a move for it. But he's probably going to wait until it cools down again. I think he's quite tired now after that little sprint. You can see he's walked off a few hundred meters away from where he had that warthog sprint. And it seems to me like he's quite hungry. But, you know, they're opportunists. They'll hunt at any time if any opportunity presents itself. Okay, so from our young leopard, let's go over to my favorite young leopard, who is with Taylor.
Hosana. There he is. My goodness, I can't tell you how he's given us the run around. I have not had to off-road like we've off-road this afternoon for a very, very long time. He's quite far away from us, well, in terms of Hosana being a distance away from the car. We know he's fairly relaxed around the vehicles, so he's sniffing. He's been putting his nose in between the bushes, going underneath all the African wattles. I think that he's looking for scrub hairs or something to eat, but something small. It's like he's just trying to get himself a little snack for the moment. So once we lose sight of him here, I have no idea how we're going to get to him. I'm hoping that I think there is a road up ahead that he's on his way to, but it is difficult to navigate through this thick bush. My goodness, there he goes. But he's changing direction, which is a bit of a nuisance. Well, for us, not for him. Of course, nothing is a nuisance for him. I don't know how. Right, let's try. We're going to have to go a long way around. Try go this way. We've got a little bit of a gap, but we get excited because we see a gap and then we don't really know where to go. Yes, Nikki, that would be wonderful because as you can see, I'm faced with a wall of trees, so we need to try and get around. So we're going to try and navigate through all of this buffalo thorn and some leadwoods and all sorts of other wonderful things. Let's go and see what Tristan's doing.
Well, I'm trying to see if I can complete a leopard trifecta for all of us and try and find another one on Chitwa, but it seems as though so far we're having no luck whatsoever. We're struggling to find pretty much anything at this stage. There's a few tracks for the cub, but that are not fresh. They're all from yesterday, and there's nothing really that I can find of the cub today. But it's not to say that it isn't here. It's just this area is crazy thick. It's not really even... It's not even thick, it's crazy thick. That's what it is. It is a mess inside here. And I've tried to follow many different cats in my time on Chitwa in these sections, and it is near impossible. You really struggle in these kind of areas. Grass is incredibly long. It's thick bush willow. Lots of fallen over stumps, and it's the perfect place for a leopard and her cub because she can hide out here 20 meters from the road and I wouldn't even know she's here. And I'm hoping that my little friend, my little ball over here is going to be enough of an enticement for the little cub to come and investigate. Hang on, what is that? Wait, let's have a look here quickly. So there's her tracks going away from me, not the cub, but Kuchava. Now, I don't think anyone's picked these tracks up today, which is good news. So there's a little diker that ran across the road. For a moment there I thought it might have been the cub, but it was a diker. But there's the track just on my right hand side. So sometimes you've got to pay a little bit more attention because the tracks are not easy to see. So there you can see an obscured track in the sand. Now these don't look the freshest at all, so I think maybe these are the ones that potentially Taylor picked up yesterday. I don't know. I'm going to just follow them around and just check, see if anyone's actually driven over them. But they're going in the direction we're traveling, so it should be relatively easy to follow them and see where they go. Oh, Kuchava, why have you chosen such a difficult spot? I really, really want to try and see this little cub. It's always exciting when there's a cub around, and so hopefully we're going to try and find it this afternoon. And Just have to throw out the good vibes, good vibes, and hopefully that will work. Wave the little orange armbands around. Maybe that will also attract some attention, and we'll get somebody coming out. Anyway, let's send you across to Taylor. Sounds like she's negotiated the wall and is still back with the little prince.
My goodness, both myself and Craig got caught in a buffalo thorn. That was a lot of fun. We're now trying to pull the thorns out of our legs. But I thought we'd grab this moment while we've got Hosana out in the open. Because honestly, who knows how long it's going to last with him. He's busy. Even looking up in the tops of the trees. Look how long the grass is around here. Perfect for him to do any sort of hunting. What are you looking for? Are you too old to chase squirrels, boy? And that was one of his favorite things to do, watching him grow up, him and his sister, running up the smallest of small trees, falling off of tiny branches. But he's listening carefully. Ah, wonderful. We've got one of our younger viewers, Lilia, who's only 6 years old, watching this afternoon. Hello, all the way from South Africa. Now, Lilia, the reason why the leopards love the long grass is because they can use it to try and hunt them, help them hunt. Now, leopards don't eat grass. Sometimes we see them eating grass, but not because they're getting any nutrients from it. Just disappearing, so we're going to reposition again. Try and follow him. Hopefully he stays on the road. So with all that long grass, Lilia, he can slink around. Have you ever heard of anybody talking about leopard crawling? I bet you have, where you get down on your belly and you crawl like this by using your elbows. Leopards are the best at doing it. They're the absolute best. So then he doesn't have to actually go down as low on the ground. There he is now. You can see, look, he doesn't have to slink. He can just walk normally with a beautiful golden light on it. So that will help him hunt. And all those rosettes that he has on his body, Lilia, that's also going to help camouflage him. So he's on the go. He's looking for something. Now he could either find a scrub hare, maybe he'll find a little steenbok, a duiker, a impala. Who knows what he's going to find. We'll try and get up in front of him. I think what we'll try and do, see if we can go around. Hopefully he doesn't go into the next drainage line. Okay, let's see. He's zigzagging, which is making it difficult to try and figure out where he's going. I think if I cut in here... Oh, hello, turtle dove. You better be on your toes. Oh, there's an impala up ahead. That's exciting. Quite far away, though. And he's got a long way to go. I just want to quickly try and concentrate and get in here. I'm going to show you very quickly the impala. We're not going to stay with it. There's an impala ram, but very exceptionally far away. I'm going to see if I pull in over here, if we see him slinking through the... That's a guarri bush. I don't mind being whacked in the face by that one. Hey! Shouting at the trees that are whacking me. I'm just watching the guests. I'm actually just trying to have a look. You see, he's coming. I'm hoping he's going to come in through this gap. Well, that's the plan anyways. Well, we'll sit here. No, Rexon's repositioning again. I can't see him. He could also be on the other side of Rexon's car. I don't actually know which way his guests are looking now because they're behind trees. I'm trying to look. Oh, here he comes. A little bit. He's coming there. I just saw his silhouette moving. So Craig, up over there, he's going to come out of that thicket there. Might be able to see him moving. I really just saw his silhouette. There he is. You got him. Center frame. Hiding away. And so I do indeed think that Hosana is in a bit of a pickle at the moment with all the new males that are popping onto the property. And so, Linda, yes, he needs to be on his toes. He needs to watch what's going on and take note of all the different leopards that are scent marking within this area so that he can keep out of their way. Otherwise, he's going to get chased out, will be the best option. But the chances of him getting killed are really, really quite high at the moment. Okay, we're going to just go forward, I think. Actually, it's a low range for this. Right. My poor earpiece is getting hammered by all the trees today. Okay, We're going to try and get another view of Hosana. I'm hoping he's going to see this impala. But anyways, I'm going to send you across to Steve and his leopard.
Thanks, Taylor. How marvelous is that we've got two young male leopards, a famous leopard by the name of Hosana and a debutante in the name of, I don't know what he's called at the moment. I have no idea. Whether we're going to see him again after today is debatable. We are now down in the southwest corner of Djuma. So we're not very far from the boundaries that he could cross over quite easily into Simbambili, Arathusa, or even Little Gowrie. Anu, if male leopards come across each other, there can always potentially be a fight. But young leopards don't have a territory, so there's nothing to fight for at the time. So what you will see, and it's something I saw for the first time when I was actually on my interview here, was Hosana, who is with Taylor at the moment, came into sighting with her father, who's Tingana, a big male leopard, who was for quite a while the dominant leopard all through this area. And Tingana displayed himself, and he sat low, he opened his mouth, he drooled a bit, and he growled a very deep warning to Hosana. And as soon as Hosana heard him or saw him, he behaved like a very nonchalant sort of young leopard and almost quite playful. So his behavior was very submissive. He didn't show any sign of aggression or any sign of physical dominance towards the other male. So the male just leaves him alone. But there's no eye contact. Leopards don't look at each other unless they really seriously want to have a go at each other. So eye contact to them is everything. So this young male leopard would... But that's the thing is now, I don't even know how young he is. Apparently by the photos, he's over 3 years old, which to me is incredible for the size. So a lot of what leopards do is posturing, and size is one of the biggest things that prevent other males from fighting each other. You're going to avoid fighting against someone who's bigger than you. And if someone's twice your size, you're going to rather fight or live to fight another day. I'm sure you all agree. Ferg has just made a comment, and just for the books, ladies and gentlemen, this comment comes from Ferg. He says, maybe we should call this little leopard James Henry. Fergus, you cheeky boy. I hope James is watching out there. And Ferg says he can say that because he's of similar stature. So small people do get on in life still. Small people are more successful. So a dewlap in a leopard is definitely bigger in a larger male leopard. I didn't even see one in this guy when I saw him. So I've never seen a leopard of this size if he's that age. So that to me is quite strange. I was even asking Tristan, I said, how can he be 3 and his size? He says he's just a small leopard, so maybe he comes from that sort of genetic stock. I really don't know. Maybe Tristan's the best one to ask those sort of questions too. His knowledge on leopards of the sands and on leopards in general is far superior to mine. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stay here with this young male leopard, and while we do that, let's go back over to Taylor and see if she's managed to find Hosana.
No, he's sitting very, very still at the moment. He's behind that tree. We can't get in there, unfortunately. It's very, very thick. He's surrounded himself. So that is the wonderful view that we have at the moment. And now it's just a patience game. Now we're just going to sit here and wait for him to come out. But I don't know when that will be. He stops, he sniffs around. He wasn't marking territory at all, but he was just sort of trying to flush prey out. But unfortunately, that's all we've got. And we can only just sit and wait and hope that we see some movement, and it will tell us which direction that he's going to go in. I don't know where he is. I'm just trying to look. Somewhere in there. Now, something that we talk about pretty often, but for you, Eliza, you're only 4 years old, I'll be happy to tell you again. You've asked, how do the leopards get their names? So it depends on where they've come from, Eliza. Normally the person that found the leopard, or the property that the leopard was found on, they'll determine what the leopard is called. But that's really it. So I was just watching a spider hunting wasp as it was flying around. I'll turn this game drive radio off quickly. So that's how they're named. Sometimes they name them because they were found on or underneath a certain tree. Sometimes they are named for their characters, their personality, and that's sort of how they get their names here. So Hosana is Little Chief, and that's what he is. He is the Little Chief, isn't he? Cool. I'm going to send you to Tristan while we wait for Hosana to come out.
Well, good luck, Taylor. It sounds like he's being a handful this afternoon and keeping you very, very busy indeed. Now, no more luck for us. We're going to go head towards Chitwa Dam and go and just try and sit there and be patient and listen out for any alarm calls. It's close enough that if something alarms, we'll be able to hear it, and then we can come rushing this way and try and see if we can find where she is. We've kind of searched pretty much every road on Chitwa now we've driven, and we haven't had any signs of Kuchava coming out of any of these areas, so I can't really see where she goes. She goes into these long grass sections, and then it becomes pretty much impossible. You can't really see anything, so we're just going to rely on others helping us, maybe a kudu or a nyala or maybe some impalas. They might spot her and alarm call and make some noise, or some waterbuck. And if we're at Chitwa Dam, we should hear it quite easily and then be able to come this side and hopefully find her. So that's the kind of plan for the afternoon, and we're going to try and see how that goes. It's otherwise incredibly quiet. There's no signs of anything else, no tracks to work with, there's no sort of antelope, birds. It's just feels deathly quiet, which maybe it's because there's a leopard that's been moving around the last few days, and maybe that's what's caused all of that.